Good morning. Good morning. Sorry. Thought I did that before we started. Good morning. So, what do we got going on? Anything exciting? We're coming down to the home stretch. We're almost done with this year's Christmas season. And I'm not saying that we should hurry this up and rush it along so that it's all done with because we do enjoy Christmas. So, we want the hustle and bustle to be done so that we can sit back and have that hot toddy and watch the kiddos open and tear open their presents. And those are kiddos that are from, little toddlers all the way up to those big adults that we got going. So, what are we going to talk about today? Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about machines. We're going to talk about machines. We're going to transition from the home flatbed machine all the way up to a commercial machine. So here's what I want you guys to do. Questions. Questions. If this is something that you want to do or something that you're considering, but you're not quite sure which direction to go in, throw those questions in the comments. We will address those questions. We, meaning myself and those that are viewing in the audience with you, um, we will address those questions. And of course, after this broadcast is done, if you still have questions, don't be afraid to send me an email, send me a message on Facebook. Ask questions, join machine groups, ask questions and research. Those are the things you want to do to before you make this transition from the home machine to the commercial. So before we dig into this, let's go say hello. We have Cindy King. She's here bright and early today. And we have Barb. Barb is saying good morning. I had that giggle earlier. Cindy was saying she's trying not to think about what she has to finish next week. Cindy, I'm right there with you. Just 10 minutes ago, I took on a jacket back project that I promised to have done by Monday. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? What do we got? Hi, Barb. Yep. Facebook user. Hello. Jesse. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So, you might be asking yourself, why does she think she can tell me about transitioning from a home machine to a commercial machine? Because I've done it. I've done it. My first machine My first machine I purchased off of the Home Shopping Network. Um, I got it. I could not figure the thing out because it required uh, software on your computer. Your computer had to be hooked up directly to the machine, and it didn't stitch well, and it went back. I had the thing maybe 2 days, and it went back. And then I bought a uh, little Walmart brother 4x4 machine. Hello, Frank. Frank, you go on driving. We'll be here later. Bye. So I went to Walmart, purchased a little brother 4x4 machine, and that was the start of my business. Within a few months, I purchased a second one that had a 5x7 frame, a little more room to work. So I'm running both those machines. And remember, my primary work is digitizing, and I use the machines to test stitch my work. Well, from I progressed to a top of the line. At the time, it was top of the line brother. It was, what was that? It was a 4000D. Now, if Joe Rita were here, she would say she loves her 6000, which is two generations newer than my 4000. So I had that machine, and then I loved it so much I bought a second one. So I had two of them. Yep. Um, and then I moved over from the two. Remember, I still have those two little brothers plus the two big brothers. And then I discovered Vikings. And I have to say, I really, really felt the quality of the Vikings was good. So I swapped out the brothers for Vikings. Yep. And I was in a place where I could just, I went straight to the top. Okay, so here's the thing. Flatbed machines do not stitch structured hats very well. No. So I discovered that in my work, I was going to need a multi-needle machine. So what did I do? I bought a used 6 needle baby lock. And we'll talk about buying used. And then um, I liked that one so much that I sold that one to invest in a brand new commercial machine. What does Cindy have here? I never had that exact experience. I did tackle twirl free-handed on my regular sewing machine. Oh my goodness. And then you got an embroidery machine. Yes, you can count that as a transition, Cindy. Yes, you can. So I bought my first commercial machine, got caught up in the hype of the marketing. Some people have extremely good experience with this machine. Mine wasn't. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then I got smart. I started researching. Before I was going to invest in another machine, I was going to know what I was buying. And I spent a year, no, almost 2 years, going from trade show to trade show, looking at all the machines, talking to all the salespeople. By the time I was ready to make a decision, I was even hands-on. At the trade shows, I was having them show me how it functions, show me how it loads, show me. Um, and that's when I made the decision, and that's when I bought one of the machines that's sitting in my little shop now. Barb, what do we got here? My Barb, I had a Kenmore, but I did not do any free hand embroidery on it. And built-in lettering, the ruby. I currently have a topaz. Yeah, I love my little topaz 50. I still keep it because you got to have a sewing machine. With all this embroidery work, you still need a sewing machine and in 4D software. Okay, so that's my history. Now, what is the lesson with this? I heard a quote yesterday. I was so inspired by that quote, I'm going to put it up on the board. We work with what we have until we can get what we need. This is very important because not everybody can go out there and lay cash down for the Cadillac of embroidery machines. So it's not a bad thing to progress from one machine to the next machine to the next machine until you get to where you are. Right now in my little shop, I have 3 machines. Um, I'm very happy with all 3 of those machines. It took a progression of 12 years to get those machines, but that was because I was working with what I had so that until I could get what I wanted, till I could get what I need. So, okay, comments. Yeah, you're right, Cindy. Barb has all the fun toys. I think we should do a weekend at Barb's. just so we could play with all of her fun toys. Okay, so remember, if you have any questions about this, I want you to pop them off into the comments and we'll address them. And it doesn't matter whether we've talked about whatever your question is, if we've hit on it or not, just throw it in there and we'll go. So I'm going to have a sip of coffee. All right. So a lot of people that are starting out in this hobby or business don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to lay out for a new system. So they're going to look at financing. Financing is not a bad thing. Don't 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 think you cannot do this without financing. The one thing I want you to be cautious about is read the contract. Don't get caught up in the marketing hype where the salesman says you only need to do 12 shirts a month to pay for this machine. Well, see, the thing is if you don't have those 12 shirts, how are you going to pay for the machine? So make sure you understand what the financial obligation is and that you can afford it out of pocket. You're not depending on the machine to make this money. Yes, that is the ultimate goal, but it's not going to be at the press of the go button. It's not going to be with your first job. Just being realistic, maybe it will for you. Who knows? But just in case, don't count those eggs. Is that how it goes? Count your eggs. Don't count your chickens before the eggs have hatched. That's right. Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, Barb says after the Viking 5D software, she decided she needed a multi-needle after 15 years on the Ruby. Saved up and bought a dual head 15 Advance and then a single needle multi. Yeah. And what does Cindy say? Like you say, figure out what you want to do. Oh gosh, yes, we haven't even gotten to that, but you're right. Patches, caps, jackets, then find what fits. And that's just it. Um, that little 4x4 machine and the little 5x7 machine, I used those machines. Remember, I'm a digitizer, so I use those machines to test. But I also used those machines to do personalization, baby onesies, baby onesies, um, beanie hats, scarves, holiday scarves, the back of mittens. Those jobs, plus the digitizing, is what bought those top of the line machines. The top of the line machines sold and bought the commercial machines. It's a progression. Um, Barb says that she's been progressing. She's been buying them outright. She has one more machine coming, and then she's maxed on space. I know the feeling. I got everything I need right now, and only took me 12 years to get there, but it's totally self-supporting. Okay, so um, if you're doing financing, read the contract, know what the obligation is. You're not buying the machine from the manufacturer. The finance company is buying the machine from the manufacturer and letting you use it in exchange for your repayment of the loan. Understand that. If you get in over your head, if you're depending on the machine to pay for itself, and yes, I know that is the goal, but If it doesn't happen, the finance company is not going to care that you didn't have 12 t-shirts this month to stitch to make the payment. So make sure. Now, if the machine turns out to be a dud and it doesn't work, sometimes, good morning, Lisa. Sometimes the machine company, the finance company will help you work with the machine manufacturer for correction and fixes. But don't count on that. That's why you need to do your research. Get the machine that is going to work for you. Um, but don't count on the finance company to help you make a fix if it gets broken. Okay, so let's go back to what Cindy said. Before you decide on which machine, you want to know what you want to do. Are you going to be strictly patches, so that's just flat? Well, then you're going to want a machine that has a really huge hoop size. Because if you're doing lots of patches, you want to do that whole mass production thing. You don't want to be doing patches on a little 4x4 machine when you need to do 100 of them. Trust me, I've been there. So if you're doing patches, you want the large sash frame machines. If you're doing structured hats, again, you can't do that. Well, there are people out there that do. You do a structured hat on a flat machine. Okay, so it's hard to bend that hat flat. So if you want to do hats, you want to find a machine that does hats well. Um, if all you're going to be doing are the little onesies, the little personalization, um, then yeah, you could get away with a smaller machine. You don't have to transition all the way up to a commercial machine. But if you're going to do things like, Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think of Matthew when I think patches too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you do a lot of spirit wear and school support um, type production where you're doing 20, 30, 50, and more items per job. That's where you're going to want to think about a bigger machine, a higher production machine. Okay, so now you figured out what you want to do. You've done some research. Good morning, Dustin. Good to see you. You've done your research. You have an idea of what kind of machine you want. You know, you know how you're going to pay for it. And listen, if you apply for that financing and they say no, no big deal. We just figure out another way. Um, Never hurts to ask. And what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no. No better off than where you were 5 minutes before. Okay, so maybe you can't afford new. You know what kind of machine you're looking for. You know how you're going to pay for it. I should use the word budget. You know what your budget is. You know how much you want to spend. New machines can cost you thousands of dollars. A new machine, let's just start right out of the gate, is $10,000 for a low end machine, as much as a new car for the high end machines. Just keep that in mind. So maybe you don't want to spend $10,000 right out of the gate. Maybe you're not quite sure, but you're willing to put, $5,000 into it. Then you're going to look at used. Now, the one thing I want to tell you about used is even if you go and sit with that machine, remember the seller's job is to sell you that machine. The seller is not going to show you the flaws and faults of the machine. So be aware that that's there. Be aware that it's possible. that there might be a mechanical issue involved. So what your out of pocket is for that used machine, I would suggest budgeting another 10% for repair. One of the things, remember I said I bought a used baby lock machine, 6 needle. The first thing I did was I took it straight to a tech who looked at the machine and said, yeah, this main shaft is going to go. So I knew that. I knew that there was a possibility something was wrong with it. So I had that built into my budget. Just be aware. Lisa, you're right. I am all about the research. All about the research. I got caught up in marketing with one machine and learned a very valuable lesson. A $10,000 lesson, just to let you know. Um, so know what you're going to do, know where the money's going to come from. If you're looking at used machines, you want to join the Facebook groups for that machine. Look at the YouTube videos for that machine. And don't just focus on that one machine. Think of other machines. They're always coming up for sale. So if you miss out on this one, there'll be another one. Um, the um, the only downside to that is, maybe you want it now. You don't want to wait another 3 weeks. You want it now. Well, okay, patience. Patience, people. Patience, and you'll get what you want and you'll be happy you waited. Okay, so where are we again? We know what we want to do. We have our financing. We're going to look at used machines. Look at do the research on the machine. Do the research on the seller. If they're selling through Facebook Marketplace, um, what else have they sold? What groups do they belong to? Search their discussion post and see if they've had anything negative to say about their machine. Um, this machine's a piece of whatever, and I'm going to just sell it. That could be a red flag on that particular machine. Do your research. Now, whether you're buying used or you're buying new, big question here. Who's your tech? Who's the person that's going to come to your location? And yes, even with the little the brother and the baby lock multi needles, you can get a tech to come to your home. You don't have to lift that 100-pound monstrosity and take it to the tech. You can hire a tech to come in, but who's going to be your tech? All right, you want to make sure that you have a tech that you can call to come in. And before you even get the machine, don't be afraid to call these people and say, listen, I'm looking at this machine. What do you think? They're the ones that are out there in the field fixing these things. They're the ones that know that this machine has a real issue with this XY axis, or this machine has this machine is a great reputation. I rarely ever have to go and repair these machines except for, regular maintenance. Okay. So know who your tech is. If you're buying new, ask the salesperson, give me a list of technicians in my area so that I can call them and talk to them about this machine. Now, if they start to hem and haw and hesitate, that's a red flag. Walk away from that machine. Yeah, it may be a great machine, but if you have a bad feeling about the conversation you just had, then walk away. There's something better out there for you. Lisa's got a point. Techs know if there are valuable parts. Remember that quote I had from Eric Campbell earlier? work with what you have until you get what you need. His ultimate favorite machine is an old brother commercial machine. Yeah, years ago they used to make them. Now you can still go out and buy one, and it may run, but the minute it stops running, you're out of luck. There's no parts. You might be able to buy another used machine so you can pull the parts off of that one and Frankenstein a new one, a fixed one. But yeah, so know who your tech is, call them, talk to them about that machine. Let's see, what else is there? I have this. I ran out of my little yellow pads. I have to use a spiral. Do do do. Speaking of speaking of the financing, we're going to transition into contracts, which is going to transition into warranties. Read your contracts. I know it's dry legalese, but there's going to be some really important information in those contracts. The financing contracts, if you're going that route, and the warranty contract, if you're going that route. If you do anything to that machine that breaks your warranty for the first 5 years, you need to read the warranty. You need to understand what your responsibilities are, what you have to do. I have a machine in my shop right now. It's a white toner printer. It's a laser printer. The contract, the warranty specifically states that I have to use toner cartridges by this manufacturer. I cannot use third-party toner cartridges. The moment I do, I void my warranty. So, and your machine has those types of things too. The machine is going to have a warranty that says if you take the covers off, you broke it. We don't know what you did. Warranty's voided. Read your contracts. Okay. Every time I have, every time I call my sales team, not the sales team, the tech team for my machines, if they have me do something with the machine, the first thing out of my mouth is it going to void my warranty? If I do this, is it going to void my warranty? Because I just want to make sure I'm not voiding my warranty. I had a thought there's something that was going to go with that. Since we're talking warranties, remember if you sell the machine, the warranty does not carry over. Um, let's see, what else is there? Oh, that's it. When you have a home machine, you get an instruction that you should take the machine in to be serviced once a year, right? You should take it and have it serviced once a year. Even for the uh, baby lock brother machines, they say you should either bring it in to have it serviced once a year or have a tech come out and service it once a year. Oh, Barb, good point. Let's go back to this. She's got something in here. Tech is about 60 miles away. Check prior to buying the multi-needles who could come and fix my machines. Coldesi gave me text and info as he is certified to work on. That's the line. Whatever machine you get and whatever list of techs they give you, make sure that that tech is certified to work on that machine. All right? Because again, going back to that contract, it might state in there. I believe Beridan has this in their warranty that the machine has to be serviced X number of times a year by a certified Beridan technician. If your contract has wording like this and you have Sam from 2 counties over come in and work your machine. Sam could be the best tech in the country. But if he's not certified for your machine and your contract requires a certified tech, you've just voided your warranty. So that's another thing to ask about your techs. Thanks, Barb. Um, know that Pam, we're going to get right into this. Okay. Two things for you, Pam, and anybody else who needs it. When you transition to a commercial machine, the daily maintenance, the oiling, the cleaning, um, changing out small parts, uh, replacing presser feet, anything, a lot of what is would need to be maintained on the commercial machine. A lot of the, like I said, the daily maintenance, um, some of the minor repairs, you're going to be doing those yourself. If you don't feel that you're mechanically, technically capable, then you're going to want a machine that you can take in, or or have a tech come out. Thing is that's expensive. So if you're going to use a multi-needle machine, get comfortable. Get comfortable with that machine. Learn how to change the hook timing. Learn how to analyze your bobbin case. Learn about the thread pathing and what the sensors do and the knobs, and learn your machine. A lot of your techs will do an online or a FaceTime or a telephone repair. Funny story. I bought a brand new Happy Voyager. So excited. Waited for this machine to come in. The day it came in, I unpacked it, set it up. First thing I did was I threw a hat on it because, that's what I do. And I broke it. Yep. Didn't even have that machine on for 20 minutes and I broke it. So I called my person. My person conferenced in the technician and we worked together and we had that machine up and running within the hour. It can happen, but you need to have confidence in your ability. Don't be afraid. Learn to repair your machine. Let's see. Marketing hype. Yeah, that marketing hype. Okay. I know. Brand new machine out of the box and I broke it. Yeah. Okay, so trying to think, is there anything else I should talk about? Is there anything else I should mention about this adventure? Yeah. Thank you, Tex Mac Happy Embroidery Machine person. And thank you for being there when I broke it. Let's see. Barb's right. Any support for me needs to be done in a timely manner. When I bought the dual head, a tech flew up from Florida, spent 2 days teaching me maintenance and embroidery. I thought it was you, Renee. Merry Christmas. Um, oh, yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Very good question. The learning curve going from a home machine to a commercial. Okay, a lot of your home machine comes with bells and whistles. Has a little camera that'll show you exactly where your needle's going to land. Or, if the project pops out of the hoop, you can put it back in and the machine will shift it around until it gets it exactly where it needs to be. Uh, it has hoop sizing, so you can't put a design in the hoop that's going to be too big so that it doesn't, damage the hoop or damage the machine. It's got a lot of safety features. You don't have that with the commercial machine. Okay. The home machines, you hoop your project, put it on the machine, you load the project, put the thread in, and press go. Yes, your commercial machine can be that easy, but it's not going to be that easy if you're trying to line things up. You need to remember to trace, because your commercial machine doesn't care what hoop is in the machine or what design you load. As long as it doesn't exceed the max of the machine's going to try to stitch it, because that's what you told it to do. You need to you need to doing you need to be aware of what your machine is capable of. You need to be the operator. The home machines, pretty much you just press a go button. It's just that easy. The commercial machines, you need to be the operator. You need to know what that machine is capable of. You need to know um, how it's going to function. You need to know what's going to happen if the thread gets caught. How do you fix that? You need to know how to change the needles. And your home machine, here, a perfect example. Home machines have flat back needles. You cannot put a needle in wrong on a home machine. Well, maybe you can, but you can't put a needle in wrong on a home machine. The commercial machines use a round shaft needle. And there's a reason for that. The home machine has a round shaft needle so that you can place it in exactly where it needs to be for your hook timing setting. Your hook timing on your commercial machine may be different than my hook timing on my commercial machine. So you need to be able to turn that needle where you need it. On a home machine, you don't. You just put the needle in there. Yeah. Um, you need to be the operator of the machine. Uh, just like a car, of course, Tesla is changing all of that. Uh, you can't get in the car and tell it, I want to go to uh, Chili's on East State Street and have it drive you there. You need to be the operator of that machine. If you're buying a used machine, it gets a little trickier, um, especially if you no real experience. It gets a little trickier. Um, YouTube, Facebook, social media, ask questions. They are your community. Reach out to your community to help you learn this machine. And don't get frustrated. Lisa is completely right. She said something about a learning curve. The learning curve on an embroidery machine is steep. Steep. You're going to get so frustrated in the first week of owning that machine. And I can't tell you how many people, the first thing they do is they throw a hat on it. Hats are the hardest thing to do, and it's always the first thing they put on the machine. So learn your machine. Reach out to your community to ask questions and how to's. Look at the social media, the YouTube, the Facebook. Um, but you're going to have to be the operator. That machine is not going to be able to know what to do until you tell. All right. Anything else? Let's see. What do we got here? You're exactly right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, like sewing a design upside down. Um, One of the safety features that is not built into this machine is knowing how it's going to stitch. If you load the machine, the design is there, but if you hoop it upside down, the machine is not going to know that your garment is upside down to flip the design. Um, the other thing it's not going to know, it's not going to know to clear the arm. Some of you have seen me working at my machines. One of them, because it was such a thing for me when I first started. Um, I always forgot to trace. Can't tell you how many needle breaks I've had because it hit my hoop, and I forgot to clear the arm. Again, can't tell. Just happened the other day. Even I was doing a knit beanie, and I forgot to pull it out from under the hoop, and it stitched both sides together. Yep, those are some of the things, but always trace. Yes, always trace. Um, I'm thinking, I know that there's like a bunch of other questions, a bunch of other things to hit on with transitioning from a home machine to a commercial machine. Please, like I said at the beginning, if you have a question about this transition that I didn't address here in our broadcast, send me an email, send me a message. Um, Reach out to the community. Don't buy that first machine on a whim. You're right. Everybody still makes silly mistakes. I want you to think about this transition before you jump. All right? Give me a question. Let me know. And yes, Barb, this is not an embroidery story, but when I was sewing back years and years ago, it never failed. I always put the zipper in upside down. I can't tell you how many times. Every time, put the zipper in upside down. Thank you, Lisa. Please, if anybody comes to you about a machine, tell them. I'll be happy to help. I transitioned from that little 4x4 all the way up to 3 commercial machines, and I will be happy to talk to anybody about it. All right. So I'm going to end things here. Just a quick note. Next week is Christmas. I won't be here next Saturday. Got a million things to do. And then it's New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. Yeah, so I'm not going to be here New Year's Eve either. I'll be online. If you see me, pop in, say hello. But I'm not working. We all deserve a break after the Christmas rush. You all have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I understand there's like 15 holidays in the month of December. Blessings to everybody for everyone. And I'm going to say goodbye now. I suppose I got to find my little, where'd it go? There it is.
Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.